Hi, everybody, and welcome to Seed Speaks. My name is Mark Sinkowitz, and I am an editor with Seed World Group, and I'm happy to be your host today. This is a video series brought to you by Seed World Group, and I am joined today by a number of my colleagues. First, I am joined by Seed World editor Alex Martin, also joined by Alberta Seed Guide editor Ashley Robinson. And last but not least, I am joined by digital content producer Ali Roden. Hi, everybody. How are you today?
I'm great. I got my beautiful warm fire going here in Winnipeg. It's pretty cold, so you need those nice TV fires.
That's true. It looks very cozy. And thanks for joining me, guys. I'm dressed up in my Santa Claus costume today, trying to be as festive as possible for the upcoming holiday season. Ali, I love the Christmas sweater. And Alex, you also have your Santa hat on. That is wonderful. Alex, you're in a unique location today. You're actually joining us from a McDonald's on your way to see your family for the holidays. Almost kind of sounds like a bit of a Christmas movie a little bit. But you're
Yeah,
you're on the road, but you managed to join us.
yeah. Sometimes, you got to record from some unique locations, but I'm glad I still got to be here.
Exactly, exactly. Well, thank you for joining us. And today we are going to be doing something a little bit different right before the holidays. We're going to keep things light and fun. We're going to talk about holiday myths. We each picked our favorite myth about Christmas and the holidays in general. And I'm actually going to kick things off with my favorite myth today. And we're going to talk about ar- sorry, we're going to talk about real trees versus artificial trees today. Now, I'm 42 years old, and for every year of my life, I've had a real Christmas tree. My parents always had a real tree growing up. And every year, my wife and I go out and we cut a tree and we bring it in the house to decorate. We love having a real tree as opposed to an artificial tree. Now, I've always felt a bit guilty as I've heard that artificial trees are better because they're more environmentally friendly. There's no need to cut down a real living tree. It makes sense, right? You'd think that artificial trees are better for the environment. Well, actually, it turns out it's not as simple as that. Now, first of all, most people who have a real tree, they buy theirs from a local seller or they go to a tree farm to cut it. And these trees are grown special to be used as Christmas trees. It's like cattle being raised for food, right? This isn't an endangered species of tree being cut down so people can have a tree for a week or two before they throw it out. You're actually supporting local tree farms that exist for this very reason. Number two, artificial trees have to be manufactured, which of course creates greenhouse gas emissions. They have to be shipped around the world. 90% of artificial trees purchased are manufactured actually in China, which means a long travel journey to many other parts of the world, which also contributes to greenhouse gas emissions. So having a real tree can actually benefit the environment, even if it is a tree that you cut down from the forest, like my wife and I do. We live in a rural area, so we cut down our tree the old fashioned way. And this makes way for new growth. As we all know, trees are a renewable resource. And to top it all off, many people turn their tree into mulch after the holidays, which can be used for a variety of things. So, myth busted. Artificial trees are not necessarily better than real Christmas trees. Now, I'm just going to take a show of hands. How many people here today have an artificial tree?
I do. The one right behind me here, this little guy here is artificial.
So I'm the only one here who has a real tree. You know what? That's all right. There's nothing bad about artificial trees. Artificial trees certainly have their uses. If you live in an urban area at the top floor of a high rise, it might be kind of difficult to get a real tree up there. So the convenience factor is a big one. Some people have allergies. They don't want a real tree in the house. Some people just prefer the look of an artificial tree. And you know what? That's okay. But I just wanted to bust the myth that artificial trees are inherently better than real trees, which is not the case as we learned here today. So that's my myth. Now, Alex, you're going to address this myth of the Christmas pickle ornaments. I've seen these pickle ornaments on people's trees. Seems to be like a bit of a trend now, and I've always kind of wondered where that comes from. Can you talk a little bit about that, Alex?
Yeah, I'm going to be a little quick due to my location today, but there are some really interesting Christmas traditions out there. I myself hadn't heard about the pickle ornament tradition until our graphic designer Leslie told me about them. It's claimed back sometime dating before the 1800s that a tradition started in German households, and it's quite unique to and similar to finding a baby and a king cake on Mardi Gras in Louisiana. Someone hides a glass pickle ornament in a Christmas tree. If a kid finds it, they actually get an extra present. But if an adult finds the pickle, it's said you'll have good luck for the year. The kicker is no one really can pinpoint where this tradition started. Though it's claimed to be a German tradition, it's actually a Christmas myth. You're not going to find this tradition in every German household. In fact, in a survey in 2016, only 8% of German nationals knew about the pickle tradition, and only 2% said they practiced it. There are a few speculations why this is considered as a German tradition. Woolworth stores started selling glass ornaments around the same time in the 1800s, and part of those ornaments were actually imported from Germany, and they were a lot of glass vegetables and fruits. So that's kind of one of the speculations from it. It's also speculated that it could be practiced in a specific region in Germany, but either way, if you hear someone talking about a Christmas pickle now, you'll know the story behind them.
Interesting. I did not know that. Yeah, it's just I've seen these pickles for a while, and I thought, gee, that's when I was a kid. I don't ever remember, and then it seems to be becoming more and more popular. And so people now, if you see a pickle ornament on someone's tree over the holidays, then they can inform people where that really comes from, what's true and what's not. So thank you, Alex. Now, Allie, you are going to address something related to Coca-Cola. Now, we're all familiar with the Santa Claus Coke ads. The artwork itself is pretty iconic. And I've heard people say that, this modern image of Santa Claus was actually invented by Coca-Cola. Is that true? What can you tell us about this?
So, according to the official website for Coca-Cola, the company did play a big role in how the world now sees Santa Claus, yet they were not the first to depict Santa as the jolly, happy soul that we all know him as today. So, a staff illustrator at Harper's Weekly was actually the first to give Santa some of his most well-known characteristics. In 1863, Thomas Nast began pulling inspiration from an 1822 poem by Clement Clarke Moore called A Visit from St. Nicholas, which is also very well known as 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. So from there, he went on to create a total of 33 illustrations of Santa, including iconic images of reindeer pulling a sleigh, Santa's sack filled to the brim with presents, and more. What I thought was interesting is that while Santa obviously is not known as a political figure, Nast did have some underlying motives with these depictions of Santa throughout the years. So, for example, one of his images in 1881, known as Merry Old Santa Claus, to the average eye, the drawing looks like any other image of Santa. So he has his rosy cheeks, his pipe hanging out of his mouth, and obviously his famous sack of toys on his back. But if you look closer in reality, according to Ryan Hyman, who's a curator at the McCulloch Hall Historical Museum, the image is actually propaganda and it highlights the government's indecisiveness on whether to pay members of the military higher wages. And so if you look in his sack of toys, you'll see some small little depictions there that kind of play to his further agenda. So I thought that was interesting. No one ever really thinks of Santa like that. So the more you know. Now I'm going to bring in Coca-Cola. I promise I'm wrapping it all together. So in 1931, an illustrator named Haddon Sundblom was hired by Coca-Cola to create an image of Santa for a Christmas advertisement. So Sundblom drew inspiration from Moore's poem and the images created by Nast. And it really just solidified the modern image we all know and love today with his rosy cheeks, the white beard, his human features, and the color red that is now associated with Santa and Christmas as a whole today.
So my costume today, and Alex and Ashley's hats are kind of almost like, yeah, like a product of Coca-Cola in a way.
And I have
Yeah, they
here with his little Coke on ornament.
that's
Ah, there
hilarious.
we
I'll
go. Yeah.
I'll always be thankful for the Santa Coke commercials. They're some of my favorite holiday ones.
It's fascinating how advertising can influence these kind of things. So, like you say, the more you know. Thank you, Allie. Now, last but not least, Ashley, you're going to tackle Boxing Day. I mean, I can't imagine what you'd have to say about this. I mean, we all know that Boxing Day is named after the empty packaging we throw away or recycle the day after Christmas, right? No,
Nope.
really?
Yeah,
Huh.
so our American viewers may not have heard of Boxing Day or be as familiar with it as it isn't widely celebrated there like it is here in Canada. We get the day off from work, and stores usually run massive end of year sales similar to Black Friday. Boxing Day falls on December 26th, the day after Christmas. And based on the name, as Mark said, you probably think that it's a day meant to box up all your gifts from Christmas, maybe and box up the holiday decorations. But that's not actually the case. It's a celebration that takes place mainly in Commonwealth countries such as Canada or United Kingdom, and it was started during Queen Victoria's reign on the throne in England in the 1800s. Wealthy families would box up gifts to give to the poor. Since servants of aristocrats were required to work on Christmas, the following day became the time when their employers filled up boxes with gifts, money, and Christmas leftovers for them, much like a holiday bonus. Servants could then go home to share the gift boxes with their families. So it was a holiday of the working class. There are other theories, though, of how the day got its name. During the Middle Ages, clergy members would give funds in boxes to the poor in honor of the feast of Saint Stephen, a Christian martyr known for charitable acts. Saint Stephen holds so much significance that in Ireland, Boxing Day is referred to as Saint Stephen's Day. And both stories, though, are focused on the theme of charity and giving. And the holiday has changed over the time. In the years leading up to World War II, blue collar workers such as milkmen, butchers, and newspaper boys used the day to run their routes and collect Christmas tips from clients. These days, Boxing Day is mainly regarded as a time to spend time with family and friends, particularly those you weren't able to see on Christmas. And it's also regarded as a day for sports. In the United Kingdom, a full slate of Premier League football games is played, and in Canada, the World Juniors Hockey Tournament kicks off with a game featuring the Canadian team playing.
Fascinating. Yeah, see, I always thought, the name Boxing Day just made me think of, all those empty boxes you have the next day that you throw all your junk in. But the history is actually a lot more complicated than that.
Yeah, I did too. I was when we came up with this idea of myths to look up for the holidays, I was Googling and I found that one. I was like, yeah, it makes sense that there's more to the story of Boxing Day because a lot of the traditions that we have for Christmas are really very new, like from the 20th century.
Yeah, as are a lot of things that we take for granted. That maybe the history sometimes isn't exactly what we think it is. So no, definitely learned a lot today, guys. Well, thank you so much. This was fun to see you all, and I hope you all have a happy holiday, safe travels, Alex and Allie. I know you're traveling as well for the holidays, so everybody enjoy yourselves. And we will see you all very soon. That's all the time we have today. I just want to thank our audience today for joining us. We're taking a bit of a Seed Speaks break, and we'll be back with live episodes on January 11. Over the holiday break, we'll be rolling out our top 10 Seed Speaks episode of the year on seedworld.com. We'll announce the topic of our new season of Seed Speaks on January 4th. So check seedworld.com for that. Everybody have a great holiday and a happy new year, and we'll see you all in 2023. Take care, everyone.